Well, welcome to the UFC. I'm sure this, came together pretty quickly for you and everything. Just talk about getting the call, having this opportunity, this dream, well, I'm sure is a dream being realized this weekend.
Yeah, it was, I was on my way to the gym, and my manager, Jason House, he contacted my brother, let him know the news. My brother, it was funny because I was talking to my girlfriend. My brother phones, I look at it, and then I continue talking. He phones again, and I think something's up. And then he messages me, phone me right now. And right there, I knew I was in. And then I phoned him, he let me know and just told me to, if you're going to the gym, you better work a little bit harder today because we're going to be grinding in about 3 weeks here. So,
yeah.
It was emotional, but it was something that I was expecting. So.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like, maybe it should have come earlier? Do you feel like this is perfect timing? What would you say about that?
I feel like this is the exact perfect time, man. Everything's kind of, everything's coming together at the best time for me. I feel like this is, I'm ready. I'm old enough to where I'm not going to screw around. I'm not too young. I'm not too old. You know what I mean? I think this is the perfect time for me.
Yeah, definitely. And you've only been pro for a few years at this point, but you have an amateur career that goes back a lot further. And you look at how you ended your amateur career. It was 1-3, and then you turned pro and you're undefeated. Why did you decide to turn pro at that time? And what was it like transitioning off maybe a little rough stretch to end your amateur run?
I mean, when you look a little bit deeper into that 1-3, one fight, I was living in Thailand for 6 months. I fought the number one guy out there. They kind of brought me in to lose. A lot of kind of things weren't really going right with that fight. I was winning that entire fight, and I just happened to have gotten caught in something. That guy went on to, he's undefeated. He's in One Warrior Series now. He's a legit fighter. One of my other losses was a headbutt. I was beating the shit out of the kid. You know who you are. I was beating the shit out of you. Silly little headbutt, cut my face. The ref stopped it because of, amateur. My third loss, I moved up 2 weight classes, week's notice, fought the champion, razor thin decision. Could have gone my way. It happened to have gone his way. I moved back out to Thailand for another year. Then I had boxing fights. I had 15 or 16 Muay Thai fights out there. So my record is a little misleading when you kind of look at it from the outside. When you dig deeper, you'll see that this is probably my 30th fight. So.
And at the end of the day, those amateur fights, that's why you do amateur fights, to get those experiences and everything. You don't see as many guys doing like a significant amount of amateur bouts. How much do you think that helped you kind of groom for when you turned pro? And obviously, the results have spoke for themselves since that point.
I'm so happy that I lost as an amateur, because now I know the taste of what, the taste of losing. When it doesn't really count. We have fighters in our gym right now, and they're kicking ass. They're undefeated. Me and my coach, my brother, we want them to kind of lose, not in a selfish way, but so that they can get that taste of what they're kind of doing wrong, so that when they turn pro, they never want to experience that again. So, having amateur fights, it's going to be real tough just to jump into professional and expect to go to the top. You got to get your feet wet a little bit.
Yeah, of course. And you've kind of been, done some of your recent fights at Battlefield out in BC and everything. I'm curious just what you think about Canadian MMA, like the scene and everything. I've heard a lot of fighters, it's just difficult to get fights, and then, to go down to the States, obviously promoters don't want to pay for visas and all of that kind of stuff. Is it challenging to get the experience you need as a Canadian fighter to get to this stage?
When I was first starting off, there was only so many promotions, but now they're sprouting up all over the place, man. BC has, 3 or 4 as it is now. Other provinces, they're getting fights all the time. So BC's doing real well right now. Canada's doing real well. There's a lot of top up and coming fighters. So I'm proud to lead the way for BC at the moment. And I think we're doing great, to be honest.
Yeah, that's great. And then so you got the call, and you got Mitch Gagnon, who's a veteran of this organization, but hasn't had a ton of fights in the past few years. What did you originally think of the matchup? I'm sure it was a name you were familiar with.
To be honest, it wasn't a name I was familiar with. No, it doesn't really matter. I'm ready for whoever. Obviously, I think it's a good fight for me. I'm a little bit taller than him. I think he's on the kind of end of his career at this point, 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in. So it's a great debut fight. I know he's tough. He's had more fights in the UFC than I've had professional fights, So No pressure on me, man. The pressure's on him. He wants to beat the newcomer. You know, it's kind of embarrassing losing to a guy who you've had more fights in the UFC than he's had fights.
Right. So do you watch tape? Are you that type of guy?
No, I'm not. I just kind of go in and do my thing. My brother watches all the tapes. He lets me know. He kind of, you know, I don't really like to gauge it like that. You know, sometimes it could get in your head for the better or for the worse. You know, maybe you think I'm going to destroy this guy. Look at this guy. And then he comes out fucking banging. Right. Or, you know, or the other way around. You look at him, you're like, man, this guy's a killer. I'm not really ready for him. So I let my brother and my coaches kind of do the video and whatever they think and feel I should be working on, that's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you come in, you know, as you said, a guy who's had more fights in the UFC than you have pro. Beating him means something, especially in your debut. What do you think that does for you? I mean, obviously it gets you in the UFC win column, but this division is wide open. There's a lot of opportunity for people like yourself. Is that how you look at it? Yeah,
of course. I mean, one fight at a time, you know, take this guy out, see what happens next. I'm hoping that they have a Vancouver card in July and whoever they want to give me and go from there.
Yeah, what would it be like to fight on that stage in Vancouver?
Yeah, it would be good, man. I mean, to be honest, you know, I'm from Squamish, and I'm getting so much love out of Squamish. I'm proud to represent Squamish, and if we had a fight in Vancouver, all 20,000 of the people from Squamish are going to come down and support me. So, you know, couldn't be more proud of Squamish. I couldn't hype them up anymore. So they're doing great for me.
That's awesome. And you know, what kind of performance? I'm sure you want to make everyone back home proud watching everything. What kind of performance are you expecting out of yourself to kind of introduce yourself to the UFC audience?
A good one. That's about it.
Yeah. Is there any way you see yourself finishing it specifically?
No, nothing specific, man. I got lots of tools. I mean, when you look at my wins, I got all kinds of different submissions. I got TKOs, all kinds of stuff. You know, one decision, but I'm looking to finish the fight, obviously, make a statement.